80 matches later, why Evert versus Navratilova is the greatest rivalry ever. The history of the most prolific duel in women's sports. Imagine a superhero movie where the two main characters spend 15 years trying to tear each other's heads off with fuzzy yellow projectiles, only to end up sharing a bucket of popcorn and fighting off real-world supervillains together in the final act. That isn't Hollywood fiction. That is the actual life story of Chris Evert and Martina Navratilova. If modern sports rivalries feel a bit manufactured, built on petty social media beef and 15-second post-match handshakes, then Evert versus Navratilova is a towering 80-episode epic of cinematic proportions. They didn't just play tennis, they staged a 16-year traveling theater production across the globe. 80 matches, 60 tournament finals, 14 Grand Slam finals, and a relationship that transformed the landscape of women's sports forever. The ultimate opposites attract storyline. To understand why this rivalry captivated the world, you have to look at the sheer contrast between the two women. If a computer script was tasked with generating two completely opposite human beings to play tennis against one another, it couldn't have done a better job. On one side of the net stood Chris Evert. Chrissy was the ultimate all-American sweetheart. Hailing from sunny Florida, she was prim, proper, wore lace-trimmed dresses, and rarely let her gold hoop earrings go out of alignment. On the court, she was the ice princess, a baseline machine with a two-handed backhand so cold and precise that it could clip a line from 100 paces without her ever breaking a sweat. On the other side of the net stood Martina Navratilova. Martina was a fiery, emotional left-handed powerhouse who defected from communist Czechoslovakia in 1975. While Chris was all elegant restraint, Martina was raw, explosive athleticism. She didn't wait for the ball at the baseline, she hunted it at the net, pioneering an aggressive serve and volley style that left opponents shell-shocked. As Evert later reflected, "We were so different in every way, shape, or form. I was the good Catholic girl trying to be feminine, and Martina was the jock. But there was something there." The teenager and the nobody. The saga kicked off in 1973 in Akron, Ohio. Chris was an 18-year-old superstar. Martina was a 16-year-old self-described nobody who was just figuring out American supermarkets. Chris won that first match 7-6, 6-3 and proceeded to build a devastating 22-4 lead over Martina during the first 6 years of their rivalry. Rivals on court, soulmates off it, Chris and Martina in their prime. Early on, it looked like Chris simply had Martina's number. Evert's mental fortitude was an impenetrable fortress, while Martina's emotions often got the better of her. But Martina wasn't content with being a perennial runner-up. In the late 70s, she made a decision that would revolutionize not just her own career, but the science of modern athletic training. Martina overhauled her diet, hired basketball star Nancy Lieberman and tactical genius Renee Richards, and turned her body into a machine of lean muscle. She brought cross-training, weightlifting, and strict nutrition into the women's game long before it was standard practice. The power dynamic was about to shift dramatically. If you've stayed with us this far, it means you're finding real value in this content. Please take a moment to like the video. This helps YouTube recommend it to more viewers so others can benefit as well. And be sure to stay with us until the very end because we have a special gift waiting for you. Now, let's get back to the video. The great flipping of the script. By the early 1980s, Martina's physical transformation paid off. She went on a terrifying 13-match winning streak against Chris from 1983 to 1984. Suddenly, the Ice Princess was the one scratching for answers against a relentless athletic force. Yet, what made this rivalry truly iconic was that neither ever ran away with it permanently. When Martina dominated on grass, Chris dug in on clay. When Martina threatened to lock down the world #1 spot permanently, Chris would reinvent her own game, adding more power to her ground strokes to push back. Between 1977 and 1987, they held the #1 ranking for 592 out of 615 weeks. They pushed each other to an altitude where no other player could breathe. The 80-match breakdown matrix. To truly appreciate the ridiculous depth of this matchup, you have to look at how evenly their 15-year war split across every metric imaginable. Metric/surface: Chris Evert, 37 wins. Martina Navratilova, 43 wins. The tactical narrative: Martina takes the ultimate crown, thanks to a dominant mid-80s run. Tournament finals: 24 versus 36. Out of 80 total meetings, 60 were for a championship trophy. Grand Slam finals: 4 versus 10. Martina dominated the biggest stages, especially on the grass of Wimbledon. Clay courts: 11 versus 3. Chris's patient baseline mastery reigned supreme on the slow dirt. Grass courts: 5 versus 10. Fast, low-bouncing lawns perfectly complemented Martina's attack. Hard courts: 7 versus 9, the ultimate neutral ground, resulting in a near-dead heat. 3-set thrillers: 16 versus 14. When a match went the distance, Chris's icy nerves usually had a slight edge. Career Grand Slams: 18 versus 18. In a poetic twist of sports history, they finished dead even in solo majors. More than rivals, sisterhood and survival. But the real reason Evert versus Navratilova stands alone at the mountaintop of sports history isn't just the statistics, it's the profound humanity that anchored it. During the height of the Cold War, they would practice together, travel together, and eat lunch together in the locker room right before walking out to play a Grand Slam final. They shared a unique, lonely space. Nobody else on Earth knew the pressure of being at the absolute top of the sport, except the person on the other side of the net. As the decades rolled on and their rackets were put away, their lives remained deeply intertwined. Fast forward to the present day, and that bond has faced its fiercest tests yet. In 2021, Chris was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. 2 years later, Martina was diagnosed with throat and breast cancer. The two greatest competitors of the 20th century found themselves in the trenches together once again, this time fighting for their lives. They became each other's primary support system, exchanging texts, sharing fears, and showing up for one another with the exact same loyalty they had demonstrated for 50 years. The world got a beautiful, raw window into this lifelong connection with the release of their documentary, Chris and Martina, The Final Set. Now aged 71 and 69, they look back at a lifetime of shared history, not as bitter adversaries, but as soulmates who saved each other. Trust and empathy we already had a lot, Martina remarked during their recent reunion. But now it is like, holy shit, we could both die. It brought us to a completely different level. The ultimate verdict. We will likely never see another rivalry like Evert versus Navratilova. Modern tennis scheduling, intense media coaching, and the sheer physical toll of the game make an 80-match epic almost impossible to replicate. They didn't just elevate women's tennis, they built the modern foundation of women's professional sports. They proved that women could be ruthlessly competitive, unapologetically powerful, fiercely aggressive, and still maintain a deep, unwavering love and respect for their opponent. They gave us the greatest 16-year drama sports fans have ever witnessed. Are you Team Chrissy or Team Martina? Let us know your favorite memories of this legendary era in the comments section below. If you loved this deep dive into sports history's ultimate duel, make sure to smash that like button, share this video with a fellow tennis fan, and hit subscribe so you never miss another captivating documentary breakdown. As promised, take a moment to check out the description for exceptional products and supplements aimed at enhancing your performance, and use promo code YT20 for 20% off your first order. Also, follow us on Instagram and TikTok for more captivating content. While you're here, feel free to delve into our channel for other intriguing videos. See you in the next one.